Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And guess what? Season finale is finally upon us, the last pre-game show of the year for the 2022 season as the Carolina Panthers prepare to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're going to get into it in just a second. All right, let's play a little Carolina Panthers trivia. Tell me what person has interviewed the most Carolina Panther players one-on-one that doesn't work for the organization? Yeah, it's me. I'm Chris Jenkins. I'm with Charlotte Vibe, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where each and every week I interview players one-on-one. And the cool thing about it is I always say I work for the fans. So I always take questions from you guys, ideas from you all, and I put that into my interviews with these players every week. And something very fun at the end of the interview is I do an activity like Office Olympics, just something really fun. And I don't always win, but that's not the point. Just so you guys can get the chance to see these players as people, not just as guys with helmets on running around on Sundays. It's really cool. So if I have your interest, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think. Man, I timed that just perfectly. I had to run downstairs and get some water. Did not want to bother the wife because you guys know during the show I always need some water, and was able to go ahead and get that. So you know the deal with today's show. It's interactive for a reason. It's live for a reason so that we can be interactive. I want to hear from you. I want to know what things you had to talk about, what questions, thoughts, vents, whatever, right? But my job today is to get you prepared to watch the game, friends and families, whoever you may be watching the game with. So we're going to go over some good things today and definitely want to know how everybody's feeling today. Lots of news out there. We're going to try to touch on some of the news that I'm hearing. Maybe you guys are hearing some news too that I haven't, and we'd love to talk about it. What's up, everybody that's logging in today? Let me get my notes properly in front of me so that I can be intelligent as we discuss things today. Hey, let's start off by, I forgot to load up some things, but I have them, so it shouldn't take me that long to load them up. You know, we always start with the transactions of the day. And I got them in front of me, so let me go ahead and share them with you all. So these are transactions that the Carolina Panthers have made since Friday. Quite a few transactions, signing tight end Stephen Sullivan. And then we activated a few guys that we can do due to standard elevation with COVID this season. That was running back Reggie Bonifon and wide receiver CJ Saunders. We also have quite a few that we can do due to COVID. There's really no limit on how many players you can elevate from the practice squad due to COVID. So those players for us today are cornerback Madre Hopper. We activated defensive end Frank Herron. Activated wide receiver Keith Kirkwood, and then we signed kicker Dominique Ebler, I don't know how to say his name, and then we released cornerback Jalen Julius from the practice squad. So those are the most recent transactions. And then actually, normally I like to put this up on the screen, but I'm not. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to read them to you so we can go through this show nice and quickly so we can get ready for this season. I know you guys got the popcorn ready, right? All right, so quarterback P.J. Walker is inactive today. Actually, I think I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, P.J. Walker is inactive today. Safety Jeremy Chin, he's inactive today. Safety Sean Chandler, he's inactive today. Linebacker Kamal Martin is inactive today. Defensive end Jacob, I don't know how to say his last name at all. He's inactive today, so I wish I could have put that on the screen so you guys could see that. Defensive end Azur Kamar, has he played since we picked him up? He is inactive today. And guard John Miller is also inactive today. So most of the guys that I told you about with the transactions that I just listed that were elevated will be active today for the Carolina Panthers. Now, this matchup today, hey, and by the way, if you guys are leaving comments, please continue to leave those comments. I promise I will get to them. I just want to get through this information to get you ready for today's show. Carolina Panthers are currently 5-11 coming into today's game with a loss to the New Orleans Saints most recently. That score was 18-10, and we'll be facing the first place in the NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. Current record for the Tampa Bay Bucs are 12-4 after beating the New York Jets 28-24. These two teams have played each other 42 times, and Carolina currently leads that series 24-18. All right, and let's go over some top 10 rankings for both of these teams. Well, not for both of these teams, but just for the Carolina Panthers today. Haven't been able to say this much all season in terms of top 10 offensive rankings, but at first I'd tell you some top 20. We have no top 10 rankings on the offensive side. We have no top 20 rankings on the offensive side. So I'm excited about today's game because it means that lots of change can start occurring tomorrow to get this team going in the right direction. And I just have to believe that this organization will play. I have to say organization because I don't know if it's going to be rule or not, even though that's a little coming up here in a second. You got to address the offensive woes because we have no top 20 rankings at all on the offensive side. So let's talk about where we do have some rankings. That's on the defensive side. Total yards allowed at 10. I'm sorry, total yards allowed per game, 300. That's good enough for second place in the NFL. Rushing yards per attempt. And you got to think this was, well, we did a pretty good job last week on the defensive side, really overall throughout that game. I know Alvin Kamara had one run where he was able to get some significant yards, but for the most part, we were able to contain Alvin Kamara. So we 4.07, good enough for seventh place in the league. Passing net yards per game. Raise your hand if you think this may be tested today with Tom Brady. Has no Antonio Brown, as you know, but still has quite a few weapons and just a mind like no other to go back there and make progress as a quarterback. And then I'm sorry, I don't know if I said this, but we have 182 yards that we've been allowing, good enough for second place in the NFL. And then our third down efficiency, 37.9%, good enough for 10th place overall. Used to have a top 10 ranking in sacks, no longer have that, and I'm sure if we did, still wouldn't mean anything when you're playing a guy like Tom Brady because Brian Burns said prior to them playing the first time that it's a little frustrating playing against Tom Brady because this guy gets the ball out of his hands so fast, if not the fastest in the NFL. So you got to rush because you want to keep him on his toes, but he'll make sure that you don't get to him before he gets rid of the ball. All right. Notable connections, we're not doing today because we just did it a couple weeks ago for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And let's go over, I don't know what order I want to go into these things. Let me check out some of these comments real quick before I go more down my list. Ali, what's going on? Lauren is continuing to do better. What are my expectations for today's game? Can I be honest with you guys when you present me with this question? I don't have any expectations for today's game. None at all. None at all. I don't expect a blowout. I don't expect a close game. I've put in zero expectations. I am guilty of doing what they tell players not to do, and that's looking forward. Past this game, I do have some things we're going to look at. I'm going to watch for. Let me mute my microphone for a second here. Sorry about that. But, you know, I don't have any expectations for the game at all. I wonder if you guys do. You have some expectations, please put it down there. I wish the Panthers would play like the Lions are playing today. How are the Lions playing today? Let me see if I can check out the scoreboard really quick since you said the Lions are playing pretty good. Who are the Lions playing today? Oh, the Lions are beating the Green Bay Packers 16-24. Well, Green Bay 16, Detroit 24 with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter. The New York Giants are losing to the Washington football team, and I don't know if you all saw this or not, but I think it was like 3rd and 9 for this game. Washington and New York. New York has the ball. They're like inside their 10, 3rd and 9, like at your 4-yard line, and they run a quarterback sneak. Look on Twitter, look it up. Like, I kid you not. 3rd and 9, inside the 5, I believe on the 4-yard line. New York gets in this formation and they run a quarterback sneak to absolutely go nowhere. So, I mean, I know we've seen a lot of crazy things here in Carolina, but hopefully we don't see anything at all like that for the Carolina Panthers. Hopefully not. Let me see if I got a few other comments here that I could touch on real quick before I go through a little bit more of the show. What's up, Vincent? Appreciate you tuning in today. My man, Shakid, always delivering some good humor there about the Carolina Panthers. Matt Rule, unfortunately, does not have a status for today. Anthony Rochelle, what's going on? How you doing? Appreciate you tuning in. John Miller's a healthy scratch. I guess he's done here. I don't know if John Miller is done here or not, but I do know who is here today. That would be Lauren.
Hello.
Hold on, I probably can't hear you. Are you saying anything?
Yes.
Let's see here. Say something one more time.
Hello.
All right, so let me put in my earpiece so I don't create a little echo. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm peachy. What now? Why is your hair not up? The other hairstyle that you do, the ponytail thingy.
I don't feel like doing the ponytail.
I'm just messing with you.
It looks bad because I just brushed it out or messed it up.
Don't mess up your hair now. Come on. You like how I'm putting on this official earpiece here?
Yes, so official.
Like I'm on the news. There's probably a slight echo for everybody that's listening right now, but I'm gonna put this earpiece in here in just a second.
Yeah, I would have been early and on time, but just gonna tell everybody I locked myself out of my house. So
What?
that's a first. Never done that before, but locked myself out of my house. So that's why I was literally can't make this up.
You can't be locking yourself out of your house.
I locked myself out, and I guess I subconsciously locked my back door, like my door of my house into my garage. So when I went to my garage to open my back door and to get into my house, it was locked, and I didn't have my house key on the key ring that I grabbed. So
You don't have like a biometric scanner at your high-tech house or a retina
it's high
scanner?
tech, but it doesn't have that. So maybe we should
No,
look into getting that.
no key fob?
Okay, so Austin and I unplugged the battery. We have like a button lock. We unplugged the battery because it's just like, I don't know, we get sketched out. Like it's only four characters or 4 numbers. So we get
Yeah.
sketched out that somebody's like gonna miraculously figure it out. So we just unplugged the battery so it doesn't work, or else we would have had that option. So
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I can't see my Panthers.
Hey, nice shirt, nice shirt. Hey, so we're at the part where I'm going to talk about things to watch for today. I hope you guys appreciate that echo is now going because your boy got this earpiece, and I hate things in my ear, but I'm doing it for the people. I'm a man of the people, so I make sacrifices sometimes just for this show. I know that I was asked earlier about things that I'm going to be looking for today, or my expectations of the game. I said I don't have any, but I have some things to watch today that I want to share. Lauren, if you have any, jump on in. My number one thing that I'm watching for today, Coach Rule, and we're going to talk a little bit more about him in a second as far as his 3rd year or not his 3rd year. But, Coach, you got a big task today. You got to have some players motivated for an extra game, a 17th game of the season, on the road down in sunny Florida. Did you do it? Did you get these players ready to play today? And I feel like you'll know this pretty quickly. If Tampa Bay comes out and scores, number one, that hasn't happened to us all season. So I'd say go ahead and find your other activity to do for the day, but come back to here for the post-game show so we tell you what all that you didn't have to watch. So it'd be important that you see what happens early on to see if coach has his team prepared to play. And the other thing is, how will the young guys do today that will get an opportunity? There's been, a lot of the younger guys will get some opportunities today to play, and we'll just be monitored to see how they do. That'll be definitely on the secondary side on defense. And we have some guys on the offensive side that may get a little bit more time as well. So those are the two things that I'll be watching for today.
I don't have anything specific that I'm watching for because it's 17th week of the season, and I'm kind of just like, looking forward to next season already. But
Yeah. I admitted that I was already excited about today because that means the season will be over. And I guarantee you, starting tomorrow, we'll have a lot more news and interesting things to talk about. Just because now we can start clamoring onto the hope and into the change. But right now, we're stuck with where we are. Let me go through a few more comments. Vincent said that he hoped that you are doing better. Vince, she's here, so you can see she is.
Oh, thank you, Vincent. Yes, I'm doing much better. I still have a lingering cough, but aside from that, I feel really, really good. Finally have energy again, so that's great.
Felix got to run to the store, but I had to say it. You're a good guy, Chris. Got the wife home from the hospital, so I'm spread out like peanut butter. Felix, hey, getting her home was a big step. Glad that you still find an opportunity to tune in when you can. Hope that she's doing well, and thanks for keeping us up to date on that progress there. So there's some good news. Let's keep on going. Brad Holt saying we're going to see what our backups can do. And Shaquille, always, we got to have him on for comedy relief.
Shockhead.
That's why you're here, Lauren. Help me.
Shockhead.
Lauren is feeling much better. She gets to interview for that Panthers OC
Shoot.
job tomorrow morning.
I mean, if they call me, I'm there.
What? Hey,
They're not gonna call me.
Hey,
I'm not.
Can you be a source for me if you get to be OC? Can you give me a little information?
I'm not qualified like they are. Oh, I messed my hair up again. Great.
All right. So Locke said Rule will be fine. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So normally we have interesting facts, but guess what? I listened to you guys. And actually, you didn't even have to tell me, but I knew that you did not want to hear a bunch of interesting facts today because his team is not doing too good. But I will share one with you before we go into talking about Coach Matt Rule. So, interesting fact, DJ Moore leads the league since he came in 2018 in 50-plus yard receptions. I bet you guys did not know that. DJ Moore is one of those guys that I'm not going to deny that he has struggled at times this season with catching the ball, all the receivers have. But outside of that, he leads the league in 50-plus yard receptions since 2018. Who else is he in that company with? Well, let me tell you. A.J. Brown of Tennessee. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you this. DJ Moore has 10 receptions of 50-plus yards. Tied for first with him is A.J. Brown at Tennessee, but look who he's up against who he is ahead of. Stephon Diggs with Buffalo, he has 9. Cooper Kupp, everybody's talking about him right now. He's in position to get that triple crown with receptions, touchdowns, and yardage. Who's the last person to do it? Do you know? Steve Smith, Carolina Panthers, last person to have that triple crown. And then Deshaun Jackson has 9. Most of those guys, I didn't check Deshaun Jackson, but actually I know Deshaun Jackson. All these guys have been in the league longer than DJ Moore, but yet he's at the top with that 10. So it will be interesting to see what kind of contract DJ Moore may get, what kind of value that we're putting on him as we get ready to retool this offense and look for some more success in 2022. But the next topic that I'm going to discuss with my co-host is the future of head coach Matt Rule. Locks said he's fine. See, Locks main said Rule will be fine. So let me get you up to date on the latest with Coach Matt Rule. First, I'll start with talking about my personal beliefs, no strong sources other than just being around the team, being in meetings, yada, yada, yada. I feel like Matt Rule will get his opportunity for a third season. Earlier on, I was saying, unless something catastrophic happens. To me, we're beyond that. Unless they lose, 64-0 today, then I feel like he is safe to start his third season. I'm not guaranteeing that he'll make it through, but I feel like he's going to get the opportunity to retool this team and go forward. There have been other reports recently about Matt Rule getting that most people saying they feel like he's going to get that opportunity. And then there's now reports coming that said it's confirmed. I believe that was on ESPN saying that Matt Rule will get his third year opportunity. But then you keep doing your research, you keep looking. There's one other report that says not so fast. Matt Rule is not guaranteed his third year. And I'll tell you my comment on it or opinion on it, but let me tell you what the report is. It says that third year is still contingent upon Coach Rule being able to find a really good offensive coordinator, like a star-studded celebrity offensive coordinator. To me, that's kind of a weird report. Because how do you say, I'll let you stay on if you hire a celebrity? I mean, that's kind of weird to me. It's like, to me, it's going to be more on a performance base. You know, who cares? Not who cares, but I'm going to trust who you hire regardless of who it is. But I still will not have my peace of mind if I'm being Tepper until I see things in action. But that was a report from, who was that report from? Give me just a second. Jay Glazer of Fox Sports reporting that it's not 100% unless he gets a big name offensive coordinator. So that's my opinion on that. Lauren, I'm certainly going to give you the floor here in just a second. But going back to the other report that's saying that Coach Rule is going to get it, went further on to say, well, who are we looking at right now at offensive coordinator? Currently, and this was from ESPN that I'm getting this information, just sharing it with you guys, Jay Gruden is one of the people that he's looking at for offensive coordinator, saying that he's trying to get somebody that has NFL coaching experience to help him, which I think we can all applaud our head, shake our head, and applaud and clap. I don't know what that was. That he's trying to get somebody with more NFL experience to be on his squad. I think that helps him out a lot. Jay Gruden last coach for the Washington football team. Forget how many years ago that was that he did that. The other person, Bill O'Brien, who is currently the offensive coordinator over at Alabama, I believe. Just started that job about a year ago. And previously he was with the Houston Texans for about 5-ish years with that organization. Those are two of the names that are out there. And then there's a third one mentioning the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, also known as Kevin O'Connell. Hopefully I wrote that name correctly. As the coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, being a potential person. But then there's also words out there that say, well, why would you leave a great job, sunny California, to come to, not that Carolina's the dumps, but it's certainly not Los Angeles, and you're getting paid well, and you got a really
LA is
good
not that
organization.
great. LA is not that great.
I mean,
I'm from California, born and raised, Huntington Beach, Orange County, and LA is not great.
It's not great.
I mean, there's nice places around it, but
What about the weather?
the what, like, I've lived in Indiana, which has winter. I've lived in North Carolina, which doesn't have winter. And if you guys want to say that you have winter here, you don't, because go to college in Indiana for 4 years, and then you'll know what winter is. And then I
Well,
lived
at
in
least we have
California
4 seasons.
my whole life. The 4 seasons are beautiful, and we still have them here. We still have them. Like, it may not snow, but it still gets cold. So, like,
Yeah.
a typical, like, you don't have to have snow to, at least I don't think so, for it to be considered winter. However, California is overpriced. The taxes are high. Everything's crazy there now. So I would hands down take a job in North Carolina. Like, Austin and I are both from California, and we love it here. Like, we would not go back to California to visit family and friends, but never to live again.
Okay.
People that aren't from there, though, always think that, oh my gosh, California is so great. I want to live there. I want to go there. I'm like, it's nice to visit, but not to live.
Hey, if I could be a millionaire living in California, I'd be good. Now, if I'm just a common guy,
So,
but if I'm a millionaire, I think
I don't
I
even
think I
like,
could have-
regardless of how much money you have, like, California's crazy. Like, you want to sit at, you think you have traffic in Charlotte? Go to Los Angeles, sit in traffic for 4 hours, and then you'll change your mind.
Any thoughts, Lauren, on all those reports about Coach Rule getting his third year for sure? Maybe it's up in the air, depending on if he gets an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think that last report is kind of, I wouldn't say that I don't think that it's like fully accurate, maybe sort of say. I would just say that I personally think that Rule is going to come back regardless of, like, where today ends up, I guess, sort of say. Like, rather if we lose, unless we lose by, like you said, like 40 or 50 points and some crazy, like, we get blown out, then maybe they'll consider it. But I really, truly don't believe that he's going to go anywhere after today's game. And I do think that he's going to come back, but it's going to be he's walking on a very thin line. And we're not talking I'm talking very thin. Start out of the season, if he loses 2 games out of the bat, he's going to be gone. So I absolutely believe the reports that says he's getting his 3rd year, but I don't think that he gets that full 3rd year guaranteed unless he does his job great and gets some wins and turns this thing around, because this year nothing was turned around. But I definitely wouldn't say they're going to give it to him or he's going to lose it if he doesn't get a celebrity offensive coordinator or somebody of such a big name. I just don't think that's accurate. I think that's kind of absurd to even say that, because it's what NFL team's gonna tell their head coach, if you don't bring in sort of celebrity big name coordinators, you're gonna lose your job, regardless of if you had a successful season or not. So I think,
and even if he doesn't have to be told that, even if that's what Tepper's thinking, how do you? I mean, you just sit there and wait.
Yeah,
to
what
say,
do you
I'm going to
say?
fire him. Who does he hire? Who does he hire?
Yeah, what do you say? Hey, you have to have this. You have to bring in X name, or else you're getting fired. I just can't see somebody even saying something like that to someone. I don't know. And it seems to me from what Rule has said about how Tepper feels about him and the relationship that they share, is that Tepper wants to give him a chance. He doesn't want to just and if he did, that's obviously true, because if he didn't believe in him at all, he would have been see ya, Denver did, other teams, Fangio got fired today. That's what would happen here. So he has to have some sort of belief or trust in him in order to bring him back, because if he had none of that, he would have been gone 3/4 of the way through the season, when everyone was everything is going straight to the ground, So I feel there's some sort of belief there, and maybe more so of a friendship now, that he probably is just going to wait until the last minute where he knows people can't stand it anymore and they're just going to have to get rid of him. But I think he's definitely going to be back next year, 100%. If I'm wrong, come at me. Maybe next week we'll find something out and he gets fired and you'll be like, Lauren, you were wrong. But I truly believe that he's going to be back next season, regardless on who he brings in as an offensive coordinator.
Hey, Brad Holt said the rule will be fine as long as he is forced to hire an NFL offensive coordinator to take the pressure off him and maybe learn something from him. Rodney just wants the season to be over with so we can see what this. Yes, Rodney, hey, let's get the popcorn, sit back and watch. Hey, which is a quick reminder, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps me to continue to do what I love to do, Lauren, as well, and it helps us get people on the show. And with this off season that is sure to be entertaining, you'll want to hit that notification so that you know when I go live, because I will go live as news breaks or as news comes forward, and want to share that with you all. So be sure to do that. Help us reach 5,000 people. But I am certainly along with Rodney, Lauren, and I'm sure a bunch of others out there looking forward to this game happening so I can look at seeing what's going to happen next.
Definitely.
Let's see. Just wants Brian to get one more sack. Wow, you want him to win that little challenge that he has against Hassan for the golf cart? Let me know, Alec. Let me know why you want him to get just one more. Oh, Green Bay isn't playing the starters right now, though. They probably did through that first half, I would say, right? Let me see. By the way, Green Bay has come back. Yeah, he definitely played through the first half, and they were still up in the first half. But nevertheless, we're Panthers fans. If you didn't know, Lauren, the Lions were up pretty good on the Packers, but now that score is Green Bay 22, Detroit 24. We're in the fourth quarter with 7 minutes and 28 seconds to go. Continue to roll through some of these things here. Panthers pickle. Yep, that's what we already went through right there. Continue to go through some of these comments. Matt Rule is a very good person, but a very bad NFL coach. So, in case you guys want, I'm looking for my slippers. Got to keep
your slippers?
My slippers.
I have nothing. I'm usually not, and I don't do the show or live in here. I'm in our office space, so we've been here for a few months now in our new house, but this is our space where we have stuff that's in boxes still. So the office space is so I'm Hopefully no one can see in my back, because if you see boxes or things hanging around, it's because I'm in the office. So I'm sorry,
Nope,
I'm not
nope.
normally where I
When
am, but that's because I locked myself out of the house and was really hurrying because I was running late.
So I think Rule is a very good person. I don't think he's a very
Yeah, no, he's a
bad
good
NFL
person.
coach
No, me
because
either.
it's still like I can separate the fact of what he is doing in terms of he is just starting out. This is his first time as an NFL coach, so there will be some mistakes. I don't feel like after 2 years I can say this guy would never be a good NFL coach because I feel like I would say that more so if I saw like what I just saw in the New York Giants game. I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that, Lauren?
Hmm.
Yeah, fourth fourth yard line, 4 yard line, 3rd and 9, and you run a quarterback sneak. That's awful. That's beyond awful. Or if I saw Rule not trying to do it, like if he never even tried to get rid of Brady, you can say it was a scapegoat move or whatever. But if you're an NFL coach, you got to do these things to, desperation to try to say, I'm
Hmm.
not going to accept my team as where they are. And I'm not saying he's great, but I just feel like it's still, I like the one more year in the sense that it gives you a chance to
Hmm.
really know whether or not this guy has learned from his mistakes or if he hasn't. But you certainly feel like he has the capability and that he's done it. Yes, it was on a different level in college, but he's done the job before. This is just a new job. So um, possibly a very bad NFL coach, but I'm not willing to say yet after 2 seasons. But I always
Hmm.
appreciate the comments and interaction. Trill says, "What's up, Lauren?"
What's up, Trill?
Let's see.
I'm reading the comments on my phone. Oh, Ray of Sunshine.
They're talking about me. They like my red. This is a power color right here.
No.
Panther
Oh,
Pickle,
thank you,
appreciate you
Panther
being on here.
Pickle. Sweet hat.
A lot of locking and unlocking. I'm not sure.
I think he was talking about when I was telling him I locked myself out of the house.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Would you rather have Bill O'Brien or Jay Gruden? Bill O'Brien, I haven't done my research on these guys other than what I was doing preparing for the show today. I feel like Bill O'Brien had more success in Houston than
Jay Gruden.
Gruden had with the Washington football
Washington.
team. I think he was more like a 50-50 guy. So again, confessing, I got to be honest with you guys, my limited knowledge, I would go with Bill O'Brien if I had a would you rather in that case. All right. Also, wouldn't mind bringing in Fangio as a defensive coordinator. We're fine at defensive coordinator. I really
Yeah.
would be pretty shocked if we had any changes at defensive coordinator. Phil Snow is a really well respected guy in the league. He's old. He's been around. So even though he hadn't had a ton of pro experience, I think he's been pretty solid. He has weapons on the defensive side, and they've been able to do things. We have weapons on the offensive side, and we have not been able to do
Mm.
things. A big difference. Now, it might not be the where you want it, but I think our defense. I read the rankings every single week, and the defense has had top 10 rankings since week one of
Yeah,
at least four
they have.
categories or more. Offense only had those the first 3 games, and now they don't even have a top 20 ranking. So if you get that offensive coordinator that we're all talking about now as a person with some NFL experience or even an NFL head coaching experience, then to me, that's significant enough. I mean, that guy has a significant role in your team. He's not just a positional coach where he just, is a doer. He
Hmm.
is next to the head coach, so he has a lot of influence on how things go and can work his magic greatly to influence the success of the team. Of course, with the approval of Matt Rule. So
Hmm.
I'm only on the offensive coordinator side right now for a new coordinator. Here's a tip for you, Lauren.
You can use a credit card if you don't have a deadbolt. I do have a deadbolt though.
I'm
Like
mad
my
at you, Lauren,
garage,
for
my
really
garage.
thinking about that.
Because I'm like, wait, my garage door has a top and bottom. Like my garage, the door, it's so confusing to say garage door. The door that goes from my garage to my house has a top lock and a bottom lock, and my front door also has a top lock and a bottom lock. So
You want? I'm giving you a hard time. Obviously, Lauren came straight from being locked out to being on the show, so
literally,
we can mess with her. So I'm not going to tease her too much as she goes to get settled. But
no, it's okay. I just, it's kind of comical that I did that.
Hey, and another thing today, and I'm definitely going to continue to work through the comments. Hey, if you didn't know, the radio announcer for the Carolina Panthers, Mick Mixon, 17 years that he has been broadcasting the show. If you have never listened to him, take a moment today because who knows how good or bad this game may be. But if Mick's calling a game is certainly interesting, you can listen to that game on WBT 1110 to be his final game broadcasting. He's retiring. Panthers have done a little tribute if you want to check it out on Twitter, a little 3-minute clip to show some of his best calls that he's had over his career. And I'm extremely proud to say that he will be on our show. I kind of even don't believe it, Lauren, as I'm telling you guys right now. Like, this legendary guy is retiring today, and tomorrow at 7, he's going to be talking to us on the
So
show at
cool.
7 p.m. So extremely grateful, and you want to subscribe if you haven't already to check out Mick Mixon. I got a feeling that if he has time, we could easily go 2 hours because he could tell. I mean, if he's been doing this for 17 years, imagine how many stories he can share about the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Crazy, crazy.
All right, so let's continue to go through some of these comments here.
I'm looking at my phone.
We need coaches who can make adjustments bad. I agree. I was trying to give that to Lauren so I could drink my water, but she didn't want to say anything. So I'll continue.
Oh,
to go through.
I'm just continuing to read, so like I wasn't. But we need coaches who make adjustments bad. Yep, I would really have to agree with that. That's KPM. Oh, it's KPM. What's up, KPM? I forgot we can't. I was gonna say you should join, but I forgot we don't do that pregame. Will Cam
No.
come back 2022?
Andre, what's going on? Cam will be back on YouTube 2022. That's where you could catch him at.
I don't think so.
Nah, so Cam, I don't even know how much of a possibility I want to say this, but I've said that he could come back if they're trying to wait and see, like if they're don't have any other quarterbacks, if they can't get anything in the draft. I don't know what that could be going on for that to happen, but I see potentially you could leave him on the roster, give him $1 million or so. Certainly won't get the contract that he has right now. So to me, I feel like there's a small chance that he could, but I feel like there's too many. The bigger things will certainly spoil that, where I'll be pretty surprised. Because I was going to
I
say
feel like
come back.
he wouldn't choose to come back if they were going to give him a low contract and he was going to be a backup. Like I personally don't think he would.
Yeah. I'm sure still feels like he's better than quite a few guys out there at quarterback. Panther says we need an offensive coordinator with experience. I feel like Kevin O'Connell doesn't have good enough experience.
Fair enough.
Paul Mancini says no on Cam. His career is over. Do you think his career is over if he doesn't make it with the Carolina Panthers?
Here.
You shouldn't really. I can't even say if he doesn't make it. He hasn't made it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like to think that he went for it wasn't so long, but in the NFL world, it was so long without being picked up by a team until Carolina signed him. And then given the season that he just had, he played limited games, but he still played and didn't have much success. So I personally don't think that he will play again. But also you have to think, taking into consideration his age, the success he's had, the money he's made, he realistically doesn't have to play football again. Yes, that's a game he loves. That's his life. He's given everything to this game. But at the same time, if there were no teams interested in him, I'm sure he'd be perfectly fine in just being like, hey, I'm hanging up my cleats. I'm going to retire. So.
Yeah, let me read this. He had a post on Instagram actually a couple of days ago. What did he post? 4 days ago. He said, I have completely failed as a man if I do not pour into my children the true value of meaning and importance of family. When I kind of first read that, it seemed like he was saying hey, I need to spend more time with my kids. Again, it says, I have completely failed as a man. I'm sorry, the year 2021, I have completely failed as a man if I do not pour into my children the true value, meaning, and importance of family.
Could be an underlying message.
Hey, to me, I'm just trying to interpret, trying to reach a little bit, but that kind of says, well, maybe if I don't get a good opportunity, there's no need in me taking away time from my family. I don't know how many kids he has. 3?
A lot.
How many, Lauren? 3?
I don't know how many. I just know a lot. No, I think it's more than 3.
All right, give me a score prediction. So far, we have Paul Mancini. Probably said that wrong. Mancini. He's saying
Mancini.
Bucks 29, Panthers 9. Panthers pick will say
I
35
definitely don't think that.
to
I think
0.
it's gonna be maybe. I don't think it's gonna be like, I don't know. I personally just think this game is gonna be a little bit different, and I think that it's gonna be closer than definitely not. If the Panthers have 0 points, we have an issue. Like we have a big issue if we do not score this game.
Well, you know we're not
Prediction.
going to score in the second half.
Prediction.
That's my prediction. 0 points in the second half.
20. Let's see. I say we have 2 touchdowns or a touchdown, a field goal. I'm saying 10 or 14 for us, and then like 20. I'll say 30 for them.
30 for them.
That's pretty high, but maybe 20. Maybe 20. No, I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty close, like not super far. So maybe 21-14. I don't know. That might be a stretch, but I feel like it's going to be pretty close. Or 10-21.
Who is considered a star-studded offensive coordinator that is available? That is available, as in like no job?
I think
I don't think
I mean, we're just the people that we were just talking about, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that's like available as in not
Yeah.
under contract. I think it's going to be well, yeah, just Jay Gruden. I think he's not working anywhere. And I'm not sure about, and Bill is working and Kevin is working. So like Jay Gruden, out of the ones that we talked about. Let's see. Omar Tillman. Head coaches are supposed to make their coordinators better. A head coach that has to rely on finding coordinators that are better than themselves serves no purpose. Well, Omar, as you see, you have such a good comment there that you're making me think for a second.
Well, I
So,
feel like that, I mean, head coach has to rely on finding coordinators that are better than themselves, serve no purpose. I mean, I that's just the position that he's in, like from that article. Like, we don't actually know that that's like that. I mean, realistically, from this past season, yes, like they didn't. I don't want to say that those guys were like, I don't know, like I know Joe Brady's scapegoat, like everyone says that, but I feel like there's I don't know. I just think there needs to be a change, and I feel like Matt Rule. I don't want to say I'm giving him the benefit. I'm gonna believe and hope that he can turn things around with the new offensive coordinator, and like also picking up people in the offseason. Like it's not just one specific thing like that he's lacking. Like it's multiple. Like we need help all over, like offensive line, coaching, like all of that stuff. So I don't know. I could just go on like a little side note, like tangent, like I don't know. So I'm just gonna stop myself, but. I feel like Matt Rule doesn't need to rely on his coordinators, but the position that he's in right now, he does because we don't, like we're in a really bad position in that place. So I don't think that that's really the case that he's relying on finding one that's better than him, I don't know if that makes sense to answer that.
yeah, so that's Omar. You presented that so well, where it makes you kind of pause
Yeah, it's like
before you
hard to
go answer.
articulate how to answer that. You know what I mean?
So, in one part, it makes it hard because he's doing bad, and you're like, you need somebody to save your job, so that person's better than you. It's kind of like what's being implied there, and I think Coach Rule does need a good offensive coordinator because, I mean, I would say he does need a little help. I mean, any coach may need a little help, and just you're able to know where you need that help from. All of us,
Yeah.
you may need a little help. I don't think that Rule is like completely bad, but I know
No, that's
he was
that's how
telling
I
Brady
feel.
things to do, and Brady didn't do it. And
Yes.
maybe you don't know the answer, but you're saying, hey, I need us to come out in the second half, and I want us to do more of like this style, and this is happening. I need somebody that just only does this, so they can do what I'm telling them to do to figure out this wrinkle. Is it more where I feel like Coach Rule is with that? But certainly, I think because Rule has not had a good season, yeah, it could be a little twisted where you say, well, so you need somebody better than you to save your job? No, I need somebody good
No.
at their job.
Exactly. That's
so
it. Not someone better,
so that I
just
can,
someone
because
good.
Matt Rule hasn't been an offensive coordinator. He's given instructions, he's given guidance, and things come from him. But I think Brady failed where he wasn't doing things as much as Rule was guiding him to. But obviously with Nixon, of course, I had to go slow because I'm thinking of Mick Nixon, and I told you before I get that mixed up. I think there's still a problem, a big problem from Matt Rule, in that he still should be able to get something out of his offensive coordinators in the second half. And I have a dedicated show that's coming up where I want to talk about that a little bit more. So Omar, that's kind of where I can go and side with you in that regard, is the second half problems should be able to be fixed some kind of way to where you're not getting like completely blanked, in my opinion, is atrocious. So yeah, that's a hole that I feel is very significant with this team. And I'll give you a little preface to the show. I feel like that's the most significant thing. Actually, we need a quarterback or we need offensive linemen and blah, blah, blah. But man, if we can't score in the second half, it doesn't matter about the other stuff. That's a problem. We have talent now. No, we don't have the best, but we do have talent now. We can't get points at all on the board. Hey, Omar, sincerely appreciate that very difficult, challenging question. It was good stuff. What do we have on time here? We got about 14, 13 more minutes. I'm going to run through some more of these comments here. Quick scroll to see if we got a lot. And we do have a lot. So let's go ahead and spread some love. You want to do it?
Shawnee Johnson. I saw you said hi earlier. Chris was talking and I read your comment. Hello and thank you so much.
For that super, this is our first super sticker. We get
I know,
super
and it's a unicorn.
It's a unicorn? It's a unicorn.
It's a unicorn.
That is really cool. Hey, we're an independent media supported 100% by you guys out there. So anytime that we get any kind of contributions at all, sincerely appreciate it. And thank you so much, as it helps us to do what we love to do around here. So let me go ahead and try to get through some of these comments here as we finish out.
Yeah, I'm going to keep reading them, see if I see any that's California. The comments about California.
Lauren, you weren't here when Rivera commented on Tepper's support right before he got the axe.
I was not here.
So I was here, and
Gotta sneeze.
I mean, some of the stuff, like, as long as somebody's hired, you're going to give them support. You should give them support. But you have to try to read between the lines when you can. And I agree with what Lauren has said, and that, no, I wasn't just going to take when Rule said that, hey, he's giving me support, just, okay, I'll take it. Because you can say, what kind of support? But I do feel like these two guys have a rapport, and that Tepper, as Lauren mentioned earlier, wants to keep him here, not like once no matter what, but once as in he believed in the process that they had talked about when he was hired. He believed in a guy that uses, analytics, uses sports science and technologies to help make decisions and things like that. And that he believes in how that Matt could turn it around in 3 years. He didn't do it in 2 years in the other places. The third year was when it happened. So I believe from that standpoint that Tepper would want Rule to succeed, and that he has given him some support. Oh man, look at this, Lauren. Did you see it? We got a super chat. Man,
oh, Priscilla.
Priscilla Addison, I appreciate you so much. Priscilla gets on me sometimes, and I appreciate the love. She'll be like, Chris, I asked you a question, and then what's up? You ain't got to it. And I'm like, okay, where was it? What did I do? So Priscilla, certainly appreciate it. Hey, Chris and Lauren, my daughter's name. Your daughter's name is Lauren?
That's a great name. You did well choosing that name. It's perfect. But hello, thank you for the support. We really appreciate it.
So much.
And tell your daughter Lauren I said hi.
Hey Lauren, how you doing? But hey, thank you guys. I've been telling you all week, there's been a lot of support, Lauren, that's been coming in to both of us this last week, and I appreciate it. Did not expect at all any contributions today, though it is needed and greatly appreciated. So touches my heart definitely that you guys are doing that on this last game that we're not looking forward to today, but we appreciate it. We will continue to bring you more news and coverage on this Carolina Panthers team, but I appreciate it so much. We might have to end with my little man. I'm see if I can get the wife to bring him in here for a season-ending goodbye wave. I hear him crying a little bit right now. That was a comment about. Um, hey, Lauren. There were some reports the other day about Kristen McCaffrey being open to being not Kristen being open, but the Panthers organization willing to listen to offers on Christian McCaffrey. Had you heard about that? Whether or not you have any thoughts on
Hmm.
that?
I have. At this point, I think Christian's taking up a lot of our cap space, and I don't want to say he's a waste of money, but in the terms or in the sense of for the amount that we paid him in the games that he's played, it's not worth it. It really isn't. Like, I don't care how much you love Christian McCaffrey. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. I've been a fan of his family, like the McCaffreys in general. He's amazing, but I do not think that he is, in my personal opinion, that he is worth the money that we're paying him. And if he continue like the position that his position he plays, people get hurt all the time. They're getting hit the most. Like it's just such a risk to pay a running back that much money and then look what happens. You know what I mean? So I feel like that might be a good thing for us that we are open to trading him because that will clear up a little bit of our cap space and give us some money to potentially bring in some other people.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, and trading Christian. I said it earlier in the season. I still feel like I'm glad that they said that. I'm glad that they're open to it, and I'm glad that they're putting it out there. Whether or not it will happen, I think, is a dramatically different thing because of the contract, very, very, very large contract that he has. I feel like it'll have to be a situation where some team in the off season, oh, I'm sorry, before the new season begins, like before game one of 22, that has a significant injury to their running back. And they feel like, hey, we got this injury. This is a really solid running back. And then we bring Christian McCaffrey and we're willing to deal with this big contract because we feel like we can win now and we'll put this guy in here. Now, obviously, that's not a scenario that you could say that you see happening. But outside of that kind of scenario, I think it'll be unfortunately too difficult for the Carolina Panthers to move him at this point because his value's been lost with playing. I don't know how many games, but certainly a handful of games over these past two seasons.
Locksman says I don't know anything about the McCaffreys and that I'm capping, and that's completely not true. I went to high school. I lived in Colorado for 3 years, and I played AAU basketball, and the McCaffreys were at a lot of my tournaments. They played basketball too. So I literally have a picture with Ed McCaffrey. My dad's whole family are diehard Bronco fans. I know so much about the McCaffreys and their family, like Ed McCaffrey, Lisa McCaffrey, like all of them. So I'm definitely not capping. I know a lot about the McCaffreys and especially Ed McCaffrey. So I'm definitely not capping on that, Locks. And that's a fact. I wish I had the picture that I could pull up right now of you. I'm literally in my basketball uniform, like between an AAU tournament, and Ed McCaffrey was there supporting his son, like in the same tournament that I was in. So I got a quick pic with him, but I wish I could just pull it up. But it was back in, 2011, 2012, so long ago. I just saw that.
Lauren
Oh, the
with the
Detroit took
facts.
the lead? Detroit took the lead.
Yeah. I think we're about to get off of here. I'm just going to scroll and see if there's any.
Interception. Detroit's going to win, Trill said. Trill, that part.
Trill said if Rule doesn't have a winning season next year, then he has to go. I don't think it's going to. I mean, unless it's kind of close to a 50-50 during the season,
Yeah.
then yeah, I can see him playing it out. But if it's lopsided, I don't. He's not going to have to go through the whole season. Carolina Panther fans, I assure you, you will not be watching another 5-12 possible season next year. And if you do, it will not be with Matt Rule as head coach. I can assure you that. Some people talking about the Panthers schedule in 2022. I got a show coming up for you this week on that as well. So hopefully you'll tune in and watch that as well. We're going to go ahead and get ready to get out of here. Let me just, again, go through a few. I want to see that score.
Lockman says Ed McCaffrey was
Trey.
Broncos. That's what I know I started laughing at that, but Locke says Ed McCaffrey played for the Broncos. I was like, yes, he did. That's what I was just saying.
All right, let's see. You guys are talking about this Packers game. I'm just looking at it on ESPN. It says there's a minute left to go in this game, and it's usually pretty quick in terms of updating. Detroit is winning 34-30.
Yeah, they just intercepted the ball, they said. So it's over.
Detroit intercepted the ball?
Yeah, that's what they said in the comments, that the game's over now. They intercepted the ball.
Let me see.
Detroit is going to win, KPF said. Shawnee. I really hope I'm saying it's Shawn. I hope it's Shawnee. I like Rule, then sometimes no. Detroit, they use
Yeah,
Chris
Detroit
McCaffrey
has
like
the
a
ball. They're
pack.
calling timeout to try to get into it. But hey, no, I won't say for Lauren. Lauren, are you coming post game? You don't know, maybe?
I wasn't going to be home, but if I can try to like get on my phone or
It's not a requirement. I was just gonna let the people know if you were.
I'll
But
try. I'll just say that I'll try.
she'll try to join us post game. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. It's always great that you all join us. It is extremely appreciative of the contributions as we rely 100% on those. So keep them coming if you can. If you can't, just hit the subscribe button or hit the like button if you're already a member. Game time is at 4:25 p.m. We will go live. Lauren is TBD, to be determined if she'll be here.
And I'm
but
not
I'll be
watching the
here.
game at my house, so that's the thing. That's why. So
It's
I
cool.
can try if it's like a really bad game and we're losing by a lot, and then I'll potentially think about leaving like 15-20 minutes early so I can be here. If not, I'll try to hop on if I do stay the whole game, at least for 10-15 minutes of the post game.
Hey, and if you haven't given us a like yet, just give one for the fact that can you not tell that Lauren has a big heart? she doesn't just say like I can. She goes to explain why she cannot baby make it and why she was locked out of that. She cares. And
I
Locks,
do. I
you
do
made her
care.
like
I want
tell
to
you,
be here always.
hey, Locks, you made her tell you what she told you because she was like, hey, Lauren, I don't know. Don't mess with her. She's a good girl. Good lady,
Not
good woman.
today.
Hey, for Lauren, I'm Chris Jenkins. We'll see you post game and enjoy the Carolina Panthers game.
See you later.